It's a Gold Coast first.
In the worlds before Monkey, primal chaos reigned.
G'day viewers. This podcast is brought to you by Koala Karma, the chill out drink. Sit back, relax, feel that passion fruit extract enter your body.
Perfect after a long day, delicious after a stressful meeting or podcast.
This on today's episode, we bring you
Fabio Glazer.
Fabio Glazer, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu
Second
legend,
name.
champion. Really?
Oh, yeah.
Cauliflower ears. A bit.
Cauliflower ears.
Yep.
He did have cauliflower.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
But he was still hard.
Yep. I want to thank Rika Waters and Aaron Brunner for sitting in on this.
Yay.
And thanks for tuning in. Subscribe on iTunes. And here we are. Are you there, Fabio? Yeah! And we're on. Fabio Glazer.
Glazer.
You say it. Glazer in Australian.
Or Glazer in Portuguese.
Yeah.
Sounds sexy.
Sexier.
According to women
Exactly.
in the audience.
Can you tell me? And Rika Waters,
Hi, Rika.
Hello, Fabio.
my shiny co-host over here. Welcome, mate. It's great to see
Thank
you.
you. Blood pleasure to be
Yeah,
here.
how do you feel today?
I feel good after being, I had a really tough week with, all these bugs going around. But I've recovered, and I'm here, and I'm very glad to be here. I'm very sorry to let you down last week, because we were meant to do this last week, and
That's it.
unfortunately, my
That's all right.
state did not permit, but we're here.
That's okay. 'Cause I think to replace you, we had a stripper,
Oh,
Bambi McFist. It was
I don't
fine.
think you missed me at
Yeah,
all.
it's fine, mate.
Any other time you need to
yeah.
need to not show up again. Just let me know.
Yeah. Well, it's... Hey,
Good on you.
how long have you been on the Gold Coast?
Gold Coast. I'm a newbie in the Gold Coast. I've been here only since January. I've been 20 years in Sydney. So
Wow,
yeah, too
20
long.
years.
Way
So-
too long.
Man. So I know you from Legacy Brazilian Jiu Jitsu Gym.
That's us.
Okay, legendary black belt.
Legendary.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Second, how do you pronounce your full title in that?
Um,
Professor.
Yeah, Professor number 1, because that's what I've been for the last 10 to 12 years now. But yeah, I'm a second degree black belt under Paulo Guimarães from Roots Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in Sydney. Yeah, so that would be my official title.
Nice. Second degree. What does that actually mean?
It's jiu-jitsu's always been very famous for its, how hard it is actually to get a belt in jiu-jitsu and to progress in jiu-jitsu, in Brazilian jiu-jitsu specifically. Why? Because we never had syllabus. If you go to karate, taekwondo, any other martial arts as a discipline, which carry belts and stuff, they usually have the syllabus, and if you get that book, you read that book, you go through all those positions, pretty much in a pretty fast period of time, you get your black belt. And jiu-jitsu was pretty different, and it has always been different in that, and still is. We actually, you can only progress through merit, through technical merit, so you have to actually improve your skills to progress. That means that anyone can take up to, anywhere between 10 to 20 years to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Nowadays, you see a lot of stuff happening. Jiu-jitsu became very commercialized, as it needed to be, to become more successful financially in the world.
Yeah.
But we try to, at least the legacy, try to maintain the traditions of grading, and trying to promote you only when you're actually entitled to promotions. But yeah, long story, it's become more flexible now when when you have to actually make people happy when they are around, and training, the goals have to be achieved much quicker. Everything is instant today.
Right.
Everything has to be instantaneously achieved. And
Do you find that frustrating?
absolutely,
Yeah.
very frustrating when you
Yeah.
come from a old school background like
Yeah.
we have, and it's actually, makes you see, makes you actually, appreciate more what you had. As hard as he was,
Yeah.
when you get to the next point, he was, through merit, it wasn't through anything else. And today, okay, I'm going to open a jiu-jitsu school under
Yeah.
you. Oh, really? Here's your black belt.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're going to go represent you there under your black belt. I don't know if I'm a black belt, but I got a black belt from a guy. It's written here in a piece of paper, so that makes me legit.
Yeah.
And that's the part of jiu-jitsu that I really try to stay away today, because it is a very commercial part that we try not to be part of. And it's hard because when you have the kids, and your kid trained with us, Cass and Vivika, the two, legendary kids at Legacy Jiu-Jitsu, and the whole kids system of belt system is aimed to promote quick achievements for the kids, which I can understand, because for you to keep your kids motivated, if you tell him, look, Ma, you're going to get your belt, I don't know when,
Yeah.
to a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old kid, even 10-year-old kid, it's hard for them to keep themselves motivated. So they found I find that's pretty interesting formula of promoting kids every year. So what they've done is pretty much,
Lowered the standard.
no, they actually created more belts.
Oh.
So the thing is, instead of going from white, and you were only allowed to get your blue belt, which is the first original belt from the ranks, when you turn 16 years old. So what would you do with a kid that starts training from 4,
Yeah.
5, 6 years old up to 16? What would you do with him? So they come up with this idea of, all right, let's give them a belt every year, nearly. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a way for them to keep motivated and coming back.
Yeah.
Works both ways. Works good for both parties. You know what I mean? I get the kid coming back. The gym is busy, and the kid keeps getting motivated because every year he wants to come back and get a yellow belt, a yellow with white stripes belt, a yellow
Yeah.
with brown stripe belt. So they invented this whole system of belts to keep kids training up to they turn 16 years old, and then they can get the blue belt and start.
Which must have exploded. There must have been if you look back, this when, because I know a gym around the corner,
Yep.
that Taekwondo or something.
Yeah.
There's some kids that they've only been there for 6 months and they're
Already
green
got
belts
like
or
3
whatever.
belts or 4 belts.
Yeah, and even myself, I trained at karate
Yeah.
one Monday every week for I think it was only 6 months, and I was an orange belt, but I was crap.
Yeah.
I knew I did nothing, but I could fumble through a couple of the katas.
Yeah.
But now that I've been at Legacy for only 3 months, man, we fight. It's such a different thing. So you really can work out who's done the work.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. There's an orange belt to me in karate could mean really nothing. Just means a couple of you've
Yeah.
remembered to some things on the
Yeah.
day.
So is it the same in Brazil though? Do they have that like multi-belt?
Yeah, this is
Yeah?
like across the board kind of thing around the
okay.
world now. It's
Yeah.
created by the IBFJJ, which is the International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu
Yeah.
Federation. They're based in the U.S. And funny, isn't it? Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but they're based in the U.S. That tells how much money these guys have put, way more than they could have done in Brazil.
Brazil.
You know?
Well,
Yeah.
it got so popular.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and today Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has taken the world by storm. Anywhere you go to Sweden, there's Brazilian
Yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu schools there. You go to Norway, Iceland, you name it. Anywhere in the world you have a black belt. Hey, here I am trying to grow Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and there's a reason behind it. It is questionably, arguably, there's a lot of people telling, that doesn't work, but it is. It is the martial art that changed the whole picture of martial arts. Back in the day, in the 90s, when you had the first UFCs and stuff, you would see a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy fighting any other guy, and you don't need to take my word for it. Jump on YouTube, Google, type there UFC 1, 2, and 3, and you see Royce Gracie, destroying every guys with no time limit, no weight divisions,
No rules.
nothing.
Yeah.
Pretty much half of the rules, or 75% less rules that they have today to protect the fighters. And I understand that. But back then, when the real thing was really going on, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu proved itself superior to everything else.
And smaller frame guys too.
Oh, yeah.
Smaller frame guys taking down what you thought would be animals. Guys that are
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
professional boxer fighters. Rah.
Oh, he was scary to watch because you see this 80-kilo guy, skinny guy, coming on into the octagon with like this monster and going, this guy's just going to kill him.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, here's this skinny guy just, putting the other guy to tap. And this is how the world got to know Jiu-Jitsu. So it is a very efficient martial art, very effective. This is the reason why, once kids started to train more Jiu-Jitsu, you could realize that there is something about it that makes the people that train Jiu-Jitsu a bit more confident, especially kids. And so the whole bullying, programs started to grow and take off. And look, I got 5 kids, probably, 3 girls, 2 boys.
I think I'd say probably a few more.
Oh, well, probably that too. Who knows? Officially 5 kids, isn't it? No, but yeah, all my kids, like the boys, good or on and off, they always train jiu-jitsu. My oldest son today, Philip, he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and a strong brown belt. Daniel, my other son, he's a DJ here in the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Now he moved back to Brazil. Still, coming to terms what he wants to do with jiu-jitsu. But he trains, So it's pretty much like, I think, soccer today, jiu-jitsu for a Brazilian boy. You got to know the basics,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? If you go to Brazil, every Brazilian guy
Plays soccer.
knows the basics and plays soccer.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, it's just like
Because I remember growing up, there was only one kid that knew judo, and I joined that little class for a little while. There was one kid who was good at boxing, and that's it. We all played football, cricket.
Yeah.
But now I actually often think about Legacy and our little suburb at Currumbin there.
Yeah.
A lot of these kids are doing. We're building
a little army.
little army. But the cool thing about jiu-jitsu, I reckon, is that if I put my kid into any of the other martial arts where you're being taught to punch, these ridiculous style of punching too, which, and kicking, if that was to be used on the street, like I did that some boxing, I think with all the cameras that are around, if I wanted to stop a problem and punch someone, I would instantly be the bad guy.
Exactly. Visually saying you're
visually,
the bad guy. Yeah.
I'm punching someone and potentially killing them too. Yeah. You're actually going to hurt them bad, and no one wants that. But with a thing like jiu-jitsu, it's the only one, for all I know, where you can stop the bad guy with some, like you
smile
said,
in
magic.
Your face.
Yeah, a smile, and just like, hey mate, and he's like, whoa, going to put you to sleep.
That's exactly,
all these little things. It's the only one.
Yeah.
And UFC proved that.
Absolutely. But the thing that I find more beautiful about jiu-jitsu, and especially for women, if there is a martial arts that can get women really involved, and you see at the gym we train equally with girls. Obviously, there's no merit in destroying a woman when you train with her physically, imposing yourself. So the technique is there exactly for the guys to learn how to tame down a bit the strength side and use more technique. So when you train with a girl, you have the chance to do that. But girls training itself, they themselves, bring up to them the chance to actually be, every time you'll be exposed to that kind of situation where there's someone in your private space, you know what I mean? They're close to you. Yeah. You'll be comfortable enough to defend yourself as well, because that's what jiu-jitsu is going to teach you in the end. You know what I mean? So if every day you got a guy on top of you, sweating, grabbing you, pulling you, pushing away.
It's a good one out for Rika. It's a great.
But
every day.
She's coming. Sign up. No, that's it. I'm just here. You just sign here. That's fine. Yeah.
Oh, choking them. Oh,
That's a different story.
Oh well, but so there is this side, for women, kids. It's such a good sport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, it translates. I think most important thing in jiu-jitsu is the fact that it's a problem-solving martial art.
Yeah.
And because you learn to problem-solve your things on a mat, you got a guy 20, 30 kilos heavier than you on a mat on top of you.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else you can do but find a solution to get this guy
Yeah.
out. So you learn